Hi, and welcome to another Culture Mavens. I'm Tom Teicholz, and I'm here with Rabbi Susan Nanus. Hi,
Hi,
Susan.
hi, Tom. Hi, everyone. Nice to be with you again.
Well, I understand there's some great programming coming up at the temple this weekend and next week.
Yes, there's we actually have two great programs coming up. The first one is this Sunday. It's a panel discussion called Anti-Semitism in the Age of Coronavirus with Saba Sumek, who's from the American Jewish Committee, and Stephen Windmuller, who's a commentator and author, and he's really an expert on Jews in America and Israel. And he's going to be in conversation. And Steve Ross, who is the head of the Kasdan Institute at USC, will be the moderator. This is a joint program with the Kasdan Institute from 4 to 5:30 this Sunday. So we hope you'll join us for that. And then on Tuesday, makes me sad. It's our fourth and last film discussion from our African American film series, Through Their Eyes. It's been really successful, and we'll be discussing John Lewis, Good Trouble. Now, this is the one film. It's on Amazon, but it costs $6.99. It's because it's a brand new film, but it's totally worth it. It's cheaper than we'd ever pay if we were going to the movies. And we'll be discussing it with Dr. Michael Renov. I just want to say, for those of you who missed last 2 weeks ago when we had Hollywood Shuffle, Robert Townsend, he was fantastic and so delightful. Really talented and very entertaining. So that was a great event. And we'll probably start another series maybe after the high holidays on another theme, because I think we really enjoyed all meeting and discussing that. So that's what's coming.
I think film series, the fact that people can watch in their home when they want really makes it more available to people, even more available than having it in person. Although obviously we look forward to being able to have the communal experience as well. Now, in this light, I wanted to bring up that there's a documentary called Holy Silence by Stephen Pressman, which is being screened through this Saturday. It's about the Vatican's actions and inactions during World War II and the Holocaust regarding the Jews, and it's being presented courtesy of the Jewish Film Institute in San Francisco and the U.S. Holocaust Museum in Washington. And it's a very good movie, and I think you'll learn a lot watching it. Stephen Pressman's a really good filmmaker, so I think you'll get a lot out of it. Now, at the complete other end of the spectrum, something that is sure to be fun and an event is that, Sean Penn, the actor whose father was the director Leo Penn, who was blacklisted. Sean has taken his call to Tikkun Olam, to helping people in Haiti, which he did an amazing job of. And now his organization called CORE is kind of the leading organization, particularly in Southern California, doing COVID testing. And
Wow.
so they're having a fundraiser, a virtual fundraiser for CORE and for an organization called the Reform Alliance, which is an organization that that works on prison reform and criminal justice reform. And they're having a live table read of the movie, of the script of the movie, which we all came to know Sean Penn in, Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Right.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which was directed by Amy Heckerling and written by Cameron Crowe. They're going to have reading it live Julia Roberts, Jennifer Aniston, Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, and it really should be quite wonderful. So, live reading to benefit CORE and the Reform Alliance of Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Okay, well, I'm that sounds fantastic. I'm going to definitely watch that. I remember that. So speaking of comedy, because that was a comedy, I myself, I usually don't watch comedy. I usually watch, to be honest, police procedurals or very gritty, I don't know. I just watched Mindhunter, which was about serial killers and things. So, but I decided I needed a break, and I discovered this series on Amazon called The Jewish Enquirer, like the National Enquirer on Amazon, which is it's a sitcom made in London. It's about British Jews, and it's hilarious. And it's about this nebbishy Jewish guy who is a reporter for the Jewish Enquirer, the fourth largest Jewish newspaper in the UK, which means no one ever heard of it. So he says, I work for the Jewish Enquirer, never heard of it. And it's about life and his searching for love and his father and his sister. And it was just really, I was laughing out loud, and it was interesting to see how similar yet different Jewish humor is in England. I mean, it's the same, but it's not exactly the same. But it was very funny. There is some spicy language in it, so I want to warn you. It's funny. His sister, who is a mother to a little kid, is the one who tends to use a bit of foul language, but it's pretty funny. So that is the Jewish Enquirer. It's free. It was really funny. And then I did watch this new feature film, An American Pickle, which is on HBO Max, and with Seth Rogen. And I don't know if anybody knows, it's a comedy about a Jewish guy from this crazy little town in Poland where he's dirt poor, and his big dream is to have a glass of seltzer. That would be like the ultimate rich thing in the world, to have a glass with the bubbles. And he goes to work for a pickle factory. Oh, no, first there's a pogrom, and then they emigrate to America, and he's in Brooklyn, and he works in a pickle factory, and he falls into a vat of pickles. And the factory's condemned, so he's stuck in there. This is the ridiculous part. And he's brined for 100 years. And then some kids go into the deserted factory and take off the top, and he comes out. So now he's in 2020 from 1920, and he finds his great-grandson, who also lives in Brooklyn and is also Seth Rogen. So
but it's now hipster Brooklyn.
Hipster Brooklyn. And of course, Seth Rogen has his own seltzer-making machine, just to give you an idea. So it's a fish out of water comedy. And I thought it was pretty funny. So I want to recommend that. And then finally, there's a Australian soap opera going around that everybody's talking about. I saw it like last year, called A Place to Call Home, that has a huge Jewish theme. The main character is Jewish in 1950s Australia. So it's fascinating. Wow. It's on Amazon, but it's also on Acorn TV. If you go on Amazon, it costs $20 for the 6 seasons. But if you go on Acorn, it's $6 a month, and then you can watch it, for $6, the whole thing, because most people, once they start watching it, they binge it. So
does it take place in Melbourne?
Actually, no, more in a small town. I can't remember, outside of Melbourne. But there's a whole theme of anti-Semitism and the Holocaust and all this stuff in 1953 Australia. So it's fantastic, and I recommend that as well. So what else do you have?
By the way, when I went to Melbourne a couple of years ago, the young rabbi of the Reform congregation in Melbourne, turns out, was a counselor at Camp Hess Kramer.
Oh my God.
So anyone from Wilshire will be welcomed in Melbourne at the Reform Synagogue there, which has some actually beautiful stained glass windows. Not quite our murals, but they are quite beautiful.
Well, I just want to say, what Steve Leder's motto is about Wilshire Boulevard Temple? We make Jews. We make Jews. So here we've made them, and they're making Jews in Australia now.
Definitely, no question. We're now sort of, even though this coronavirus it's hard to remind ourselves that it's actually summer because we aren't doing the things that we normally associate with our summer, whatever that may be, whether it's vacation or travel or or just going to the beach. My summer, my treat every summer is to go to the Hollywood Bowl, and I really miss the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
But thankfully, the Hollywood Bowl decided that they're going to start airing some programs from their archives on a weekly basis. And so this week they are airing, and I believe it's on Friday at 8 p.m. on your local PBS station. They're airing The Night of Mexican Music, conducted by Gustavo Dudamel and the LA Phil, with the great, with artists like the great band Rodrigo y Gabriela and Yola, the Youth Orchestra of LA, are going to perform with La Santa Cecilia, which is kind of a modern day. They're not a mariachi band, but if someone today was doing their version of the strolling musicians, that's what La Santa Cecilia is. And it's going to be a great night, and that's on TV. And then on Sunday, KCRW is doing the normal Sunday program for the Hollywood Bowl, the World Music Festival, and they're curating on KCRW some of their past programs. And this Sunday, it's a night of electronica music featuring Kraftwerk, and I believe it's Flying Lotus. So tune in, whether on TV or on the radio, to have a little bit of that summer Hollywood Bowl experience.
And if it's not too hot, do it outside.
Yes, that's what I'm planning to do. I'm going to put a couple of chairs outside, socially distance, make a picnic dinner and enjoy the night.
That sounds great. Speaking of music, I just want to remind everyone that at Temple Emmanuel Stryker Center on August 30th will be their Irving Berlin concert, which I've signed up for, Blue Skies Over New York. It says a benefit concert, but it is free. And just to let you know, if you sign up for one program with them, free, you will now be on their mailing list and you will get notices of all of their programming. And they have some great stuff coming up in September, some speakers, different things. So it's worth it to sign up just to get all the notices. But we'll be letting you know if we think something's really important as well. But just thought I'd remind you about that.
Yes, for sure. And last but not least, there is a library called the Posen Library of Jewish Culture and Civilization, which is one man's quest to sort of put all the great Jewish history and learning in one place. And they're now making this library accessible virtually online. And the library itself has had sort of like the encyclopedias of old, they have different authors who put together volumes, chronological volumes of Jewish art and culture, in the years from 800 BC to the start of the, of recorded years BC, and they've just completed their 10th volume, which takes them, I believe, into the 20th century. Amos Oz and his daughter together wrote a volume about Jewish words, and it's really a fascinating place to do a deep dive and follow your interest and learn about Jewish culture and civilization. So that's my recommendation for this week.
But I have a question. So 800, first of all, we say BCE, just so you know. But
I say before coronavirus is BC.
Oh, that was like last year. So what would 800 BCE, what would they have?
You know, don't know. You have to go on and find out.
Prophets, Isaiah lived there. The prophet
or archaeological finds. They don't limit it to just history or literature. You know, they've got all kinds of disciplines contributing. So it's really like the ancient, like when they first started the encyclopedias, which were really to try and gather and distill, you know, human knowledge and experience. And on that note,
we can all use some more human knowledge and experience.
Yes.
So
at least for a week. Yes, at least for a week until we come back to you next week with more suggestions.
Exactly.
Thanks a lot.
Everyone, thanks. See you
Bye.
again. Bye-bye.